Imagine a forest engulfed in flames. The fire devours trees, burns bird nests, and drives terrified animals from their homes. From a distance, a child watches and cries as a squirrel dies, charred by the blaze. This isn't fair, the child screams. But 10 kilometers away, the ash from the fire settles into the earth and nourishes seeds that have long slept beneath the soil. 3 months later, green shoots emerge. 5 years later, the forest is more lush, diverse, and alive than ever before. And so, the question arises, was the fire evil or simply a part of a greater cycle? A cycle that doesn't care about a child's tears or a squirrel's fate. This is the unsettling paradox we face. We live in a world obsessed with morality, labeling everything as good or evil, right or wrong. But the universe operates only by law. A lion tears into a gazelle not out of cruelty, but because that is how survival works. A volcano obliterates a village not out of vengeance, but because of geological pressure. A virus kills not from malice, but because replication is its biological imperative. So why is it that we, creatures born of this same neutral universe, are so certain that our moral concepts are universal truths? This is our existential contradiction. Moral codes differ across cultures. What is virtuous in one society may be taboo in another. What we believe is righteous today might be shameful tomorrow. Yet gravity pulls on saints and sinners alike, with equal force. Now consider this. What if good and evil are not fundamental to reality but human inventions? What does it mean to live in a cosmos that is neutral, where tornadoes destroy homes without intent, and cancer grows without moral cause? How can we, born of this indifferent universe, be so devoted to morality? This is not just philosophical speculation. It affects how we experience suffering. We take random misfortunes personally, as though the universe should care. This is why injustice makes us angry, because we believe justice is real. This is why we search for meaning in suffering, because we think there should be one. In response, humanity has split into two extremes. The first is denial, creating comforting myths. This is a test from God. There's a lesson in every pain. Karma will balance everything. We try to believe the universe is fair. The second is existential bitterness. If the universe doesn't care, why should we? This leads to nihilism. But there is a third way, a rare path, to see reality as it is, free from our hopes or fears. As Nietzsche wrote, we created morality because we could not accept the terrifying, beautiful neutrality of the universe. But what happens if we continue to live in this illusion of morality? Why can't we accept the cosmos as it truly is? Let's imagine a thought experiment. An astronaut is stranded on a distant planet, where there is no morality, only cause and effect. A meteor wipes out her shelter not out of hate, but because of physics. The toxic air isn't cruel, it simply is. Can she still uphold human morality in such a place? This is our dilemma. We evolved to survive, not to understand objective reality. Morality, in the human brain, isn't the result of philosophical truth but a social tool. It keeps groups cohesive, tempers individual ego, and shields us from the terror of meaninglessness. Carl Jung called it projection bias. We project human consciousness onto the universe. Melvin Lerner described the just world fallacy, the belief that people get what they deserve. Arthur Schopenhauer criticized anthropocentrism, seeing humans as the center of the universe. We claim a storm is evil because it destroyed our home, when it's merely a weather system. Philosophers have long challenged this illusion. Nietzsche said, "Morality is a fiction invented by the weak to tame the strong." Epictetus declared, "It's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them." This conflict plays out in the brain itself. The emotional limbic system demands justice. The rational neocortex sees only impersonal cause and effect. This creates cognitive dissonance, the discomfort when reality clashes with moral expectation, and existential anxiety, the fear of a universe that doesn't care. Culture reinforces the illusion. Religions frame natural laws as divine will. Legal systems simulate justice that doesn't exist in nature. Stories and films insist that every tragedy must have moral meaning. But what if our sense of justice is just a dressed-up primate instinct? What remains when we strip all moral projections from reality? Can we live without stories of good and evil? The consequences of the moral illusion are tragic. A mother who loses her child to cancer may ask, "What did we do wrong?" As though pain must be a punishment. Earthquake victims are judged for their lack of faith. Trauma survivors are told to find a moral lesson in their suffering. This is psychological cruelty, not from reality, but from our refusal to accept its neutrality. Wars are waged in the name of divine justice. Politics devolves into moral tribalism, us, the righteous, them, the wicked. Even in science, we assign moral values to species as if nature plays favorites. Neuroscience reveals the truth. During moral debates, it is the emotional amygdala that lights up, not the logical centers. Moral judgment happens faster than rational thought. Shockingly, the brain releases dopamine when we judge others. It's addictive. This illusion traps us in 3 major cognitive pitfalls. 1. The blame illusion, always seeking someone to blame. Earthquakes as punishment, pandemics as conspiracies, failure as proof of unworthiness. 2. The meaning crisis, a growing emptiness, especially among the young, when no divine or cosmic purpose is found. 3. Ecological blindness, labeling tigers as cruel, while excusing humans who clear entire forests. Real-life examples reveal this trap. In a Stanford study, a cancer patient hated herself, believing her illness was punishment for past sins. After therapy that taught her to see cancer as a neutral biological process, her mental and physical health improved. In the Middle East, opposing groups fight, both believing God is on their side. Yet the root cause is competition over resources, not divine morality. We can recognize signs of moral illusion in our response to misfortune. If every tragedy is seen as a test, or if we rage at the universe's unfairness, we may be trapped in a moral narrative the cosmos never authored. Even the belief that good is always rewarded can be a form of spiritual immaturity. But what if suffering has no meaning? What if death is not punishment, but simply biology? Could we live more freely without the burden of moral illusion? The answer opens the door to a radical rebellion. A rebellion against fabricated morality. We've been imprisoned in the conceptual jail of good and evil to poles that never truly existed in nature. Nature knows no sin, no virtue, only cause and effect, only the flow of change. It's time to see the world not as divine test, karma, or cosmic lesson, but as a dance of impersonal interactions and blind laws of physics. The first step is to distinguish between social ethics and natural law. Ethics are human agreements for harmonious living. They can change. Natural law just is, unaffected by good or bad, fair or unfair. To liberate ourselves from moral illusion, we can begin with 3 practices. 1. Training in neutrality. When facing tragedy, drop the moral label. Ask, what can I learn from this, without feeling punished? 2. Amoral meditation. Observe the mind's constant need to judge, then let go. 3. Studying nature. Watch wildlife, geology, astronomy not as moral events, but as mirrors of neutral existence. History gives us examples. Albert Einstein rejected a personal God and saw the cosmos as a mathematical harmony, yet remained deeply compassionate. The Buddha taught liberation from duality, that suffering arises from our clinging to concepts, including morality. Spinoza saw God as nature itself, void of human-like intentions. So let's stop believing the universe is just. It simply is. Stop seeing failure as punishment, it's only the result of cause and condition. Stop calling people evil, see them as acting from their own beliefs and pain. Freedom from moral illusion brings 3 great gifts. 1. Reduced mental suffering, no more chasing hidden meanings behind every tragedy. 2. Clearer thinking, seeing events as they are, without moral fog. 3. Purer empathy, helping others not because it's good, but because it aligns with the values we choose. But this path is not easy. Our cultures were built on moral foundations. Our brains are wired for dualism, to judge, to blame. Yet, as Nietzsche said, we must dare to create our own values, not simply inherit them. So ask yourself, can you imagine a life where suffering isn't a punishment, where happiness isn't a reward, where you are truly free to define your own meaning without fear of judgment? That freedom lies in one courageous act: to awaken, to rise, to embrace the cosmic neutrality and begin the final liberation, to dance, finally, with the chaos of the universe without asking who's right or wrong. Because if the universe could speak, perhaps it would whisper, I never created good or evil. You did. Will you now stop blaming me for a moral drama I never wrote? Thank you for watching until the end. If this video resonated with you, share it with those you care about. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your thoughts below, I'd love to read them. May your day be filled with clarity, courage, and cosmic calm. See you in the next video.